Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees still manicuring the bullpen, as they say, picking up some options, dropping some options there, and giving a qualifying offer to Trent Grisham. So, kind of getting some of the early, off-season moves here by Brian Cashman and the Yankees, and a lot of it predictable, and also looks like Don Mattingly is cutting ties with the Toronto Blue Jays, fresh off the World Series loss, where you figure maybe want to hang around, but it looks like he's leaving his role as hitting coach, and is now up there where he would land there. So, we'll kind of get into the whole deal, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Wherever you get your favorite podcast, search it, find it, subscribe. And there's also the YouTube version of the show. Dropped a couple episodes ago, kind of got into a lot of this stuff and previewed it. And, I'm going to pat myself on the back being right on a lot of these predictions. Or at least there's only been two, but so far, go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, subscribe there as well. So, Yankees making a couple of moves this week and quite predictable. Probably 2 episodes ago on the YouTube channel, kind of broke down all the different timetables, and Yankees have a certain date to give a qualifying offer for this, and when they could give an offer for that, and when they got to make a decision on this player, that player, and all that. Kind of went down the whole deal. Some of them had to do with players who had an option for the 2026 season, and one of them being lefty Tim Hill, which, I say overall, he's probably one of the more reliable Yankees of the whole season. And even at age 35, he'll be 36 next season. But really, pretty much came in, got the job done, was effective. He's always a bit of a question mark because, obviously when the Yankees got him in 2024, you figure, all right, they got him off the scrap heap. He pitched well for the Yankees, throughout the regular season and in the postseason. But you figure, all right, how long can you hold on to this guy? Is he going to break down eventually? Again, he was in his mid to late, getting to the other side of 35 there a little bit. But overall, you got to say his 2025 season was really good. 4-4 record. As a reliever, you don't look at record that much because you don't know when you're coming with guys on base. There's all sorts of situations. But pitched in 70 games. That's pretty damn good for a 35-year-old. 70 appearances, ERA 3.09, and 53 of those 70 appearances he gave up no runs. So reliable the whole season. Good against lefties. Good against righties. Never really got hurt. Never really had any problems with him at all there. When I was kind of going down the list of players who the Yankees would invite back, and him at only $3 million, I think that's pretty good bargain. So I felt strongly that they would retain him, and it looks like they are going to retain him for the 2026 season. And just on the flip side of that, Jonathan Loáisiga also had an option up for the 2026 season at $5 million, and I thought, no way, we're going to pick that up. Obviously, had a really disappointing return coming off surgery. The Yankees kind of gave him a shot, which I kind of understand a little bit. Guy came up through your system. You had some success with him. You want to give him a shot there to see if he could really finally be healthy and thrive. But unfortunately, this early on in the 2025 season, he was having issues there, and then he had to be shut down with surgery yet again. And there would be no reason why you would bring him back on a $5 million option. Now, does that mean he's totally done in pinstripes? Not exactly. You could just decline that option, and then maybe if you want to really have him as some sort of invitee or something like that for the 2026 season at $1 million. Yeah, so I don't think it necessarily 100% means he's done as a Yankee, but probably is. How many times are you going to try it with this guy? It's just, unfortunately, he's just never going to be healthy, and the writing's on the wall with that one, so not shocked at all that, again, the Yankees are declining his $5 million offer. So Tim Hill back, Jonathan Loáisiga, Johnny Lowe, Johnny Lasagna, as some people like to call him, probably done as a Yankee. And in other news, Trent Grisham. Now, obviously, yes, he can elect to be a free agent, but the Yankees do have something to call a qualifying offer to retain him for one more year. Now, that's originally what the Cubs had for Cody Bellinger before they traded him to the Yankees, the qualifying offer. I guess you can only shoot that bullet once out of your gun there, so since the Cubs already shot that on Bellinger, the Yankees can't really do that to Cody Bellinger. They could have to give him a straight-out long-term deal if they want to retain him. Trent Grisham, on the other hand, his contract structure is a little bit different, so the Yankees could use that qualifying offer. It's a one-year deal at $22.5 million. It'll be a one-year deal to see if Trent Grisham would bite at that. Now, if I'm Trent Grisham, you're probably not. You just got paid $5 million this season, and again, for $5 million, the Yankees got the 30-plus home runs and all the production and playing center field. The Yankees got a lot on the dollar for that $5 million. So if you want to congratulate Brian Cashman on that, however, do you think this guy could do that for multiple seasons? I don't think so. And if you're Trent Grisham now, you're thinking, okay, well, am I getting at $22 million coming off 30-plus home runs? That's okay, but he might think, you know what, maybe someone will give me a 4-year deal at $25 million per year, $100 million. So why am I going to take this as 1-year deal for $22 million there? So if you're Trent Grisham, it's a gamble. Now, if you get a pay bump from $5 million to $22 million, hey, you get $17 million more the next season. It's pretty excitable to stay. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think he's going to take it. Why would you if you're Trent Grisham? He's had this great season, and there's got to be someone that more than likely is going to give you a multi-year deal. Now, are you going to get $20 million per year? I don't know. His season was more of an aberration than what, that was going to happen every season. So I don't think someone's going to give this guy a mega contract. Could someone possibly give him a 2 or 3 year deal? Maybe. I could see that possibly. But if that's the case, I don't think the Yankees would be that team to do that. So if I'm Trent Grisham, came off the best season of my life, I think I'm going to decline that $22 million offer. Unless you just really love it here and you want to stay here and you figure you could do that again. And then for 2027, maybe that's when you get your big deal. Okay, but I just don't know if people can be itching to give you a long-term deal. So if you're going to get your long-term deal or whatever big year contract you get, I mean, this is probably the off season for you to do it. So probably he's going to decline this offer. Again, if I was him, that's probably what I do if I just come off the best home run season of my life. We'll see how that pans out. Things that happen. Maybe Trent just loved it here and he just feels that, hey, you know what? I don't know if I could get a better, per million per year offer than that, even though it's a 1-year deal. So we'll see what he does there. I think he declines the offer and maybe tries to test the free agency market. Why not? And if the Yankees really want to bring him back, again, they can always bring him back in free agency, just depending on what the market is for him out there. It's just kind of a weird deal because, you saw all the home runs and stuff. We know he's a Gold Glove caliber defender in center field, which is valuable as well. He's like a 240, 230 hitter. I mean, he's not like a great batting average hitter. Again, he was a good player there, but it wasn't like he was like getting on base all the time, stealing bases and dominating games and stuff like that. So I just don't think he's really a great player. I don't think he's going to get like a mega deal out there. But let's just see what the market is on him, as well as Cody Bellinger, as those two are floating out there. And if you find this interesting enough, check out some other players in the majors who have been given qualifying offers. Now, they've just been given the offer. They, obviously they still have some time before they want to accept it. Now, they got till November 18th. Kyle Schwarber from the Phillies. I mean, a left-handed power hitter, and that would probably do good at Yankee Stadium and would be a good foil for both Judge and Stanton. You got Kyle Tucker mentioned of he possibly an option for the Yankees. Very likely, I think he's going to decline and test free agency. I mean, they're talking about him being one of the top free agents out there. I just don't see why he would just take a 1-year deal when he could get a multi-year deal. Starting pitcher Suarez, Ranger Suarez from the Phillies. Framber Valdez also started from the Astros. Bo Bichette, shortstop of the Blue Jays. A little interesting with Volpe kind of up in the air a little bit, but it seems like the Yankees are going to stick with Volpe through all the good and the bad, at least for now there. But possibly, they could bring Bo Bichette in if he declines the offer from the Blue Jays. Dylan Cease of the Padres. Just mentioned Trent Grisham. You got Gleyber Torres. I mean, do you want to reunite with him? Probably not. And very interestingly, Edward Diaz with the Mets. Again, he signed a 5-year deal, but again, he could opt out if he wanted to. And if that's the case, he declines that offer. He could hit the free agency market again. You talk about technically the Yankees need a closer right now. I mean, I know David Bednar kind of took that over there a little bit, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees still want to bring in a high quality on there. I mean, you're probably going to definitely lose Devin Williams, which it's not really a loss, but he's probably gone. I don't know if the Yankees going to retain Luke Weaver or not. And again, we don't know what he is right now. He's kind of up in the air, and a lot of bad stuff that last season with his confidence and everything. And it just looks kind of like a lost puppy out there. So I'm not sure if that's the guy you really want to bring back. Brandon Woodruff, Zach Gallen, the D-backs, Shohei Ohtani from the Cubs, Michael King. Again, we kind of discussed him on the latest YouTube episode. Should they bring him back if he declines the offer, which he very well would, because I think as a starting pitcher there, he's probably looking for his big payday, his big deal. But I wasn't really too keen on 2024 season was very good. 2025 season not good. And if you look before that, just again, he had the elbow issue with the Yankees, had surgery. So I mean, it's not a guy who's been able to put consecutive seasons together as a starting pitcher. So I'd be a little hesitant of wanting to bring him in. And last but not least, the news with Don Mattingly. Also featured him on the latest YouTube episode. You should catch the latest YouTube episode. Obviously, I wasn't rooting for Toronto, so I made that very clear from the beginning. But again, the only silver lining that him as the hitting coach for the team, he would have, obviously, it gave him a chance to participate in his first World Series ever, and that's as a player or a manager. Again, the Yankees, he's gotten the postseason once in 95. And this, maybe dabble a little bit with, I think, when he was managing the Marlins in 2020. This was his first time to get to a World Series with a team, and unfortunately for him, Toronto came up short there in the 7 games. And I was like, all right, what was he going to do now? He seemed happy up there. He seemed to like it up there, but he is actually not going to come back for the 2026 season for the Blue Jays. Kind of siding more this the road. It's kind of getting to him a little bit, just, being away from the family and all that stuff. So, there were a couple of job openings with some managerial firings. So who knows if he was kind of thinking maybe getting a job somewhere, being a manager again. Plenty of bench coach jobs open. There was an article out there that possibly the Phillies might be looking for a new bench coach. Nothing obviously linked to the Yankees, but of course that's always lurking. Obviously, you keep Boone, keeping Brad Ausmus, it seems like, as well there. So, and obviously, I don't think they got James Rawson right now as the main hitting coach. Even though he's looking for a job, possibly getting a job with Minnesota. I don't think he's going to bring Don Mattingly in as a hitting coach. The Yankees had him during the Torre years. He was the bench coach back in like an 05. A little different situation. And back then. I mean, you're going to bring this guy back 25 years later to be just a hitting coach. I don't know. I don't see it happening somehow, some way there. So I don't think he's going to reunite with the Yankees anytime soon. And at age 64, I don't say he's an old manager, but these new guys, I don't know if they're going to respond to an older guy like that. So who knows? I mean, I just don't see him reuniting with the Yankees. Let's just say they go 2 more years with Boone and then he's out. Then at that point, Mattingly's going to be about 66, 67. Are you going to bring a 67-year-old to manage the Yankees? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I just don't. In that particular way, I don't see that happening, even though it seemed like Joe Torre was 100 years old when they brought him in 96 there. But nevertheless, Mattingly out there on the street there and available if somebody wants to pick him up. I also delved into the whole Veterans Committee. Obviously, now he's down the ballot. Again, it's the Veterans Committee that can vote players in who weren't able to get in the normal way through the Baseball Writers Association of America. Again, it's a conclave, if you want to talk about the Pope there, of 16 executives, former players, and so forth, if 12 of the 16 give the thumbs up on a player, that person can get into the Hall of Fame. Mattingly is on that list, and you want to go check out that latest YouTube episode. That's why you should subscribe to everything. I kind of went through all the players available. I don't see really a really overwhelming case for any of them. Kind of got into Mattingly where you like the lifetime batting average of 307. He has an MVP. He put together like 5 or 6 unbelievable seasons from like 84 to 89. But other than that, not enough time played. Again, the injuries took the toll on him. I know he's a 307 batting average, lifetime batting average, okay. But again, other than that, the MVP, it's just a good player. It's just not enough time put in there. So I just don't see him qualifying for a Hall of Fame. But the only one you could maybe make the case, well, first of all, there's 3. The whole Bonds and Clemens thing, obviously, it has nothing to do with the numbers and their acolytes. It's either you think they cheated or they cheated beyond what they could have been normally without the substance of stuff and all that stuff. That's the only thing that's holding them back. So it's how you feel on that, whether they want to give them the thumbs up or not. So it has nothing to do with the stats. It's just whether you feel that PED had any effect or not. And, even if they use it later in their career, are they still considered a Hall of Famer? So that's that debate. The only one on pure numbers would be Gary Sheffield. 292 batting average. It's almost 300. And again, in this day and age, that's a little different. So that's quite impressive there. You got 509 home runs, so over the magic 500 home run mark, and 2,600 hits. I know it's not 3,000 hits, but it's pretty close up there. And just put together like 20 years. I mean, look at his, back of the baseball card, just impressive records of home runs and RBIs and so forth. So maybe that's the only guy you can maybe just based on numbers you may want to consider kind of be like the Andre Dawson / Dave Parker type of player who's not great, but extremely, extremely, extremely dangerous and a good hitter that you almost have to put him in. So maybe Sheffield gets in. That's the only one from that list that has a maybe. But honestly, if you want to really hold the standard of the Hall of Fame to any of them, I would say none of them would get in, but let's see what happens. Catch you next time.